That's why they grab up 14-year-old kids off the battlefield and take them there for 5 years, then release them to be al-Qaeda commanders, and then they're untouchable. It's the same thing on Anwar al-Awlaki, but again, it's hidden in plain view that he hangs out secretly at the Pentagon getting orders, even comes out in Fox News. Nobody gets in trouble. The average Fox News viewer just doesn't even register it when they hear it. Just like the massive weather modification program. But that's only a subset. We know about declassified chemical, radiological, biological testing, including lethal testing, going on at an accelerated rate from the 1920s through to today. People who say they couldn't get away with this, they haven't. Most of it's public. People who say they couldn't get away with the 9/11, it wasn't declassified until the 1980s. In 1987, when the program started, upwards of 500,000 women on record sterilized in the United States secretly. Babies murdered at birth because they had poor mothers. That's now been declassified. But before it was ever declassified, they had newsreels promoting the murder of babies at birth, and we have clips of that in English from the United States in 1930 in my film Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement. The simulated murder of a newborn baby and how good it is. That they were showing people that. That's why Hitler was loved in America. Because he praised America. He praised Margaret Sanger. He praised all the eugenicists. He praised the Rockefellers. He was the savior. But we're supposed to forget that. My grandfather told me about growing up in Dallas, and all the time on the radio, mainline, they played Hitler speeches and translated it and said how great Hitler was. Right up in Dallas, on Dallas radio stations. You're supposed to forget all that. Hitler is a creation of the New World Order, not the other way around. He's only one arm, one little arm of this system. So to get into the birds dying, clearly when you have, some reports are 5, 4, 2,000 birds, including ducks, falling out of the sky in first a 1 mile, then a 2 mile area, something's going on. Fish die-offs nearby as well. These have always been associated with chemical and biological testing. It may only hurt a big old 150-pound, 200-pound human, but a bird gets a whiff of it, they're going to die. Let's go ahead and play part of this newscast.
Just before folks in BB rang in the new year, many witnessed an uncanny resemblance to the Hitchcock movie, The Birds. 2,000 blackbirds fell from the sky off Wynwood Drive, covering about a mile, leaving quite the mess to clean up. THV's Katharina Yancey has the details on our top story from the Information Center. Katharina?
Ashley, folks I spoke with initially thought the birds were poisoned because they are what they call a nuisance around this time every year. But they are surprised to hear it's more of a mystery.
Millions every night. You look up at the sky, it's just black. So, and then last night about 10:30, I come out here and seen a bird drop.
In a matter of hours on New Year's Eve, thousands of birds fell from the sky to their death.
And I just immediately called Mom because I had to go to work, and I said, you've got to come get the kids and get the dog because I don't know what's going on, but I don't want them messing with any of them. It was horrible. You could not even get down the road without running over hundreds. It was that bad.
The mystery is unraveling like scenes from a movie. Dozens of U.S. Environmental Service crews spent the day picking up the birds, walking between homes and climbing on people's roofs with protective hazmat suits and breathing masks.
Nobody knows. You know,
it made national news back in 1997 when hundreds of witnesses, including police and others that we interviewed on air in Belton, Texas, north of where I sit, saw helicopters with spray canisters flying over the small town and neighborhoods, and people got violently ill, and it ended up being a national news story. They do this stuff right out in the open to test the troops, to test the pilots, to test the media, to see what they can get away with. And now they've set the precedent to just do this stuff right out in the open. And when it comes out that, oh, yeah, up into the 1990s, they were nerve gassing our troops to death. Oh, yeah, and, You know, in 2003, they were taking foster kids and testing chemicals on them and even killing some of them in New York State. So what? And it sets the precedent. And I have sat here with mainstream news in my office, bringing up chemical, biological, radiological secret testing. And the talk show host, the news presenters, the Nightline people, MSNBC, they look at you like you're crazy. So I hand them mainstream news articles about it, and they still laugh at you. See, they can't face it. They say I'm crazy, even though I have all the admissions. Because if they ever admitted up to this, they'd have to do something about it. But because they subconsciously feel powerless against the government, they go ahead and deny it. Or they make excuses for it. Oh, those are isolated incidents. Oh, those were just rogue scientists. Really? Why don't they ever go to prison? Why do they get promotions for it? I'm going to come back, go over Paul Watson and the story I did with him. Stay with us.
One of the most potent ways to lower blood pressure is to inhibit the angiotensin-converting enzyme in the body, also called ACE. In nature, there are a group of proteins found in unheated whey that inhibit the ACE enzyme. The most potent ACE inhibitor to date is lactokinin. While lactokinin does not have the inhibitory potency of synthetic drugs commonly used in the treatment of hypertension, this naturally occurring whey peptide may be able to help keep blood pressure normal. The most powerful whey protein supplement on the market is One World Whey. One World Whey is the first ever unheated whey protein powder from grass-fed cows. One World Whey is easily digested and tastes delicious. Use One World Whey to support your exercise or weight loss goals, your optimal blood pressure, energy, endurance, and mood. To order, call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
As many people know, ever since President Nixon took us off the gold standard, the U.S. dollar has been devaluating. What people don't know, however, is how this directly affects your personal finances. Is there a way to protect your portfolios from losing value? The answer to all of this is gold and silver. They both have maintained their purchasing power for 6,000 years. If you had $100,000 in cash and $100,000 in gold and silver back in 1913 and kept them until now, your cash would have the buying power of only $4,800, but your gold and silver would have the buying power of $3 million. The answer to protecting your assets is simple. Call John Ballman today at 1-800-686-2237, extension 169. Get all your questions answered before your money is worth a zero. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 169. Take action today while we still accept paper dollars for gold. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 169.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill, and I had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, poor vision, and I really wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess, pretty much.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract, and from within a few days, I started sleeping a lot better. My blood pressure normalized, my blood sugar normalized, and my sleep really did improve.
Experience these benefits and more when your body gets what it needs with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking heart and body extract.
Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Some folks are born made to wait to fly. Ooh. The red, white, and blue. The red, white, and blue. And when the band plays,
I know I spend a lot of time on chemical, biological, radiological secret testing, but when you know that the government from the highest levels has been giving the orders, at least since the 20s, to secretly murder people in the name of science, it tells you everything you need to know about these people. And then nothing that they say or do matters anymore because you understand that presidents come and go, but this scientific dictatorship continues. And then you find out, by discovering history, you are empowered. You find out it's the Rockefeller family more than anybody, but also the British royalty and others, who on record funded the modern sciences from a eugenics perspective of how to dominate and control populations and how to give life extension technologies to their own families. It was Rockefeller grants in a quest for 30 years that discovered DNA and the double helix. Watson, the main discoverer of it, is on record saying blacks aren't human and being a big Nazi. And the media always knew this. They could read his books. That's why I put out Endgame 3.5 years ago, calling out Watson. And then about a year after the film came out, he made statements about blacks being basically stupid and not being fully Homo sapien. And he had to resign from Cold Springs Harbor Human Genome Project. What's Cold Springs Harbor? That's the Rockefeller Institute on Eugenics. And the German office was the Kaiser Wilhelm branch. And so I see a news story about a bunch of birds mysteriously dying, falling out of the sky. And I know about the past reports of this. Remember the other reports about green goo falling out of the sky and all the rest of it and birds dying all over the country? And we know there's all this bizarre weather modification going on. They're also testing all these different microwaves and things. Is mass bird and fish die-off connected to government testing? 1977 Senate hearing found that U.S. government had infected hundreds of cities with biological agents. But they tell you that the TSA needs to put their hands down your pants and now scan your credit cards and copy them and confiscate your Christmas calendar because it's to keep you safe from Al-Qaeda. But the government's been spraying the public for a long time. Oh, but again, that's to protect us too. A mass die-off of birds and fish in Arkansas, which prompted a response by U.S. Environmental Services, has residents asking questions about the cause. Could secret government testing be responsible for the carnage? You know what I find interesting, and we need to get callers from BB and other areas where similar things happened, not just in that town. We're getting reports from other towns. Were there already a big influx of people in the town the night before? Did you see government trucks with their hazmat suits in the front seat? Oklahoma City, 9/11, First World Trade Center attack, 93. They always have a drill right before. What did the deputy head of FEMA, Mr. Kennedy, tell ABC News on 9/11? Oh, it's a good thing we got here on September 10th and we're already ready and had moved things out to the front of the pier in the command center. And then the media was like, what are you talking about? So a day later they said, oh, that was a mistake. FEMA wasn't there a day before. Forget what he said. Remember that? Remember that? And then it got declassified a few years later. Oh, you bet. It's true. It all happened. FEMA was running a drill called Tripod 2. a drill where they had moved out the day before into command centers, simulating an attack on the World Trade Centers. The way you'll know this is a staged event for sure is